Hi Moon Fam! Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Luna, and today we're going to do a little something called Tea and Tarot. So I've only done one of these, and it was so much fun, okay? And it's been so long, and people have been asking, and so I wanted to do another one, and I'm hoping to do these more often because I think they're very fun and unique and kind of just like a really chill, comfortable environment where I feel like we can really connect and just talk and chat, just drink some tea together, ask my tarot cards some advice, what's going on in the world, stuff like that, and just kind of have a girls' time, hang out, and, you know, feel good and get some advice. So today, the tea that I'm drinking, this is the Root Support tea, and I can't remember the brand, but I got it in a Goddess Provisions box. And today that I'm filming today, it's the full moon in Virgo. So I definitely want to get into my root system and like kind of ground myself a bit. So I'm very excited. I really like this tea. So I'm excited to drink it. And let me know what you're drinking in the comments. If you're having tea with me, or if you're, having coffee or water or whatever, just let me know and we'll talk about it. I'm always looking for good tea recommendations. So if you guys have any good sweet teas or kind of like fruity, I just have a hard time when it's not very fruity or sweet. I have to put a lot of honey in it in that case, but whatever. Okay, I'm gonna set my scene. I have some jasmine incense cone right here. So I'm gonna light that. We all need a little bit of jasmine in our life. I guess not usually because I've only done this once, but the last time I did this I had like an outline of what I want to talk about, and today I don't really have an outline. I don't really know what I'm going to talk about. I have a couple things that I've been thinking about talking about with you guys, and other than that I'm just going to let the cards kind of like let the flow of the conversation, I guess like lead the flow of the conversation. But yeah, so let's just see. So first, let me talk about what's been on my mind, okay? I like this because this feels like I get to just talk and no one's gonna stop me. I can just speak whatever I want. But I've had a couple of really, really what feels like profound realizations come up in my life, just randomly, and I actually go really deep into the one about manifestations, the thought I've had recently, which I'll talk about a little bit. But I go really, really deep into that in my podcast about manifestations. I'm not sure when this is going to get posted, but that podcast will be up Friday the 25th. So do check that out if you're interested. But the main thought that I was just like, I realized, I feel like I had a breakthrough where I was like, oh my God, like I literally know what at least my main block has been when it comes to manifestation, and something that I don't think people like talk about. Like I don't feel like, so here's my little thing. I feel like the talk that I hear about law of attraction and manifestation, it's all very abstract, and like it's never been explained to me in a way that like fully integrated into my mind, if that makes sense. I did just read Manifesting by Chris Ferraro, and I thought that was the most comprehensive like piece of manifesting information that I've read and like understood properly. I thought it was really, really good. So I'll put that in the description box if you're interested. I think it's a very good book. But it's all just like, it's all felt very weird, and it like nothing that I watched or listened to or read like really felt like it sunk in. But then I just was sitting there and I had, implemented this into my manifesting tactics, and I was seeing a very big shift, and I felt like I was manifesting a lot easier. And it just clicked that like the number one thing that for me, manifestors like me, need to do in order to like really manifest your stuff is to realize, this is gonna sound hippie, if you stay with me, realize that you already have it, okay? And you might be like, I don't have that thing. Right, I get that you don't have the specific thing. So I'll give this example. So say you're wanting to manifest X amount of money, right? So what I would do with this method, and I know this might be very confusing, so I'm hoping that it comes off well. Like I said, I go really deep into that podcast that I mentioned. But if you want like X amount of money, sit with that thought and really dive into what it is you want, why it is you want that. If it's that, X amount of money, why? Is it because it makes you feel secure? It gives you stability? You can go to that concert that you really want to that will make you feel happy. So work with the feelings. Like, what is the feeling that is attached to that you're trying to get to? And what I realized is that all of our manifestations, like genuinely all of them, boil down to security, safety, happiness, love. And all of those things, security, safety, happiness, all boils down to love even further. Like, why do you want to feel secure? So that I feel like loved and safe and like comfortable to exist. Like, that's all coming from a love place. Which brings me to my point, which is you have that. You have the ability to tap into those feelings that resemble or that will come with your manifestations. And when you tap into those feelings and you really indulge in those things, it I don't know, for me, it sent a signal out into the universe and was like, oh shit, we want more of this, okay. So if it is security, if it is happiness, what does that look like for you? Is it having money in savings? Is it, maybe love is cuddling up with a book and being really cozy? There's so many things that we do that give us those feelings, and that's what I'm saying, because those feelings, that thing that I'm hoping this is making sense, that thing that you want is attached to a feeling. So by realizing you have that thing, because you have that feeling in other forms, you are able to more quickly manifest that. Does that make sense? I hope it did. Oh, cards are coming out. Oh, we got the Two of Cups, you guys. We got the Two of Cups. And then we've got... Yes. Okay, whoa, this is totally talking about manifesting. And I say that because the Magician's here. We've got Two of Cups, the Magician reversed. Then we've got the Two of Swords reversed, and then the Page of Swords. Oh my gosh, you guys, what the heck? So we've got two swords happening, one cups, and one major arcana. I'm gonna take this out so I can drink my tea finally. Okay, so cool. The Magician to me always is talking about manifesting. It's literally what it is. It's like the creator. He can manifest whatever he wants. So the Magician reversed kind of makes me feel happy that I talked about that really weird abstract idea that I hope made sense. Because to me that's saying yeah, we need to talk about what's blocking our manifestations, because the Magician reversed, you have that creative potential, you have that manifestor power, but something's blocking it. What we've got next to it is the Two of Swords. So this indecision, this better of the two evils, but also Two of Swords to me is so often sort of being unaware, and because this person's blindfolded, they've got the Two Swords, which often represents having to make a really tricky decision. You've got two things and they kind of both suck and you're like, shit, what do I do? So I feel like that's the mindset that we need to get out of. We need to find those things that make us happy. And I don't want this to sound very bypassy or anti feeling your harsh feelings, because I'm a Pisces moon, you guys. I am very into feeling all the bad feelings when I need to, because you need to work through that. But with that, I think for this, what I'm feeling is finding the silver lining. It might seem like there are these two really shitty options, or you're like, well, I work at this shitty job and I want to start my own business, but if I do that, how do I know I'll have money? There might be more than those two. There might be something else hidden between the lines. With the swords, we've also got the Page of Swords, and that's all about the thoughts and the mind space. So clearing out your mind space to make way for, those those gems of information to come through, so that you can figure out what that other option is. With the Two of Cups, I love Two of Cups. This is connecting and being in tune with others and finding your success and your happiness in a very mutually loving way with other people. With the Heavy Swords energy, this is so true, universe, because our world has been very crazy and it's very easy to get stuck into a hard mind space, because it's hard. It's hard to see all the things that we see on social media and all the things happening in the world, and so it can be really easy for us to get stuck in kind of a nihilistic philosophy, I guess. And so I'm feeling this okay, So, okay, I watch this YouTuber, Hitomi Mochizuki, and I love her so much. And she always posts these videos of her, like, with her, like, sisterhood, and they're just, like, in the forest naked and having a good time. And honestly, that's the vibe I'm getting. Like, we need to kind of step away from this very, harsh, very pessimistic, by the books mindset where we're focusing on all the bad, and just like let loose and step into our friendships and those we love and just be like with the earth. And I know that sounded so hippie. That's the shit I like, you guys. But yeah, trying to like, because here's a big thing with manifesting too. A lot of times it's like you want to manifest something, but your logical mind is like, well, like that's impossible. Like, how am I supposed to do that? And that's a big thing to, this is the fun part. You don't have to worry about that. With manifesting, you don't have to worry about the how it's going to happen. I mean, you need to put in the work and stuff, but my favorite thing to do is to look at crazy success stories and like you'll read them and be like, that's insane that happened. But it reminds you and reassures you that does happen. Like crazier things literally have happened. So if you're really in this like by the books mindset of like, well, yeah, I want this, but how am I supposed to do it? That's so insane. Like there's no way, become aware of those thoughts, because those thoughts are not helpful. I mean, it's good to like have, don't do anything too crazy and like make sure that you're gonna stay alive and like have a home and stuff like that. But taking a leap every so often when it feels right is really, really good. And I think that's when the most important things happen, and like that's when your manifestations really start to flow, because you're kind of like letting go of the worry and the control, if that makes sense. Love this tea. Okay, cool. So that's all I'm going to talk about for manifesting, because you guys, I swear, my podcasts, you guys know this, my podcasts are usually only like 30 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. This podcast literally was an hour-long podcast, okay? So it was very long. I've been talking about manifesting for a very long time on there. And if you want more information about that, definitely check that out, because I don't want to like repeat a ton of shit. You know what I mean? So the other thing I wanted to talk about, and I'm trying to remember how I freaking came about this thought, but it really was crazy. And I think I must have been thinking about boundaries and like how we connect with others and how my relationships have grown and become more healthy along the years. And let me find the exact quote, because I wrote it down because I was like, listen, I need to not forget this. Yes. Okay. Oh, such a good thought. I think it actually might have just like literally came out of nowhere. But how do you reward people for how they treat you? Now that might seem kind of weird, but let's think about it. How do you reward people for how they treat you? Because we do. We absolutely do. And a lot of times it's habitual and we don't even realize we're doing it. So do you show people more attention when they're giving you compliments or when they are giving you critiques? This is important. I was listening to a channel, I think it's called Channel with Amber Amrine. She's my Reiki healer, and she has a podcast, Channel with Amber, and she said something, and she said, you are training people how to treat you. And I was like, Amber, oh my God, you said it, yes. But how are you rewarding people for how they treat you? And it's just the fact that I thought that, and then I listened to that podcast and I heard her say that. I was like, okay, this is all like stuff that we need to talk about, because truly. So we often, in our society, we are so like, we've been told to really brush off compliments. If someone compliments you, oftentimes people will just be like, oh, no, or they'll brush it off, or they'll get embarrassed or whatever. And so if that's something that you do, I understand, like it's something I used to do 100%, and it's something I've had to work hard to not do, because we're kind of told that if we're like, thank you, and like, we accept it fully, like, does that mean we're cocky? Does that mean we're a narcissist? You know what I mean? And it doesn't. We just have a really unhealthy view of self-love and what it looks like to respect yourself in our society. But when somebody compliments someone and the person receiving the compliment brushes it off, or ignores it or whatever, or they say no, you're pretty or whatever, that's not only a disservice to yourself, but it's a disservice to the person that is complimenting you, because you're saying, no, fuck your opinion. Like, seriously. And it kind of stops the flow of receiving, which is another manifesting thing. And it also stops the flow of like love that's happening there. Because if someone was like, you know, if someone was like, hey, I'm trying to think of an example. I don't know, it just doesn't make sense. If someone's like, you're so pretty, like thank you, that's so sweet, like thank you so much, and then give them a compliment back, a genuine compliment. That's just flowing with love. If you're like, no, it's like, oh shit, you know, that's not great. But so many of us, when people say something nice, we turn it down. But if someone critiques us or if someone leaves a nasty comment, well, we're first to jump on that. We're first to say something back to them or to think about that forever. So we're rewarding more like negative behavior. We're rewarding the criticism and we're showing more attention. We might not feel like we're rewarding that with like, here's a trophy, thank you. But by giving it more of your attention and thinking, that is what you're training that relationship to bring back to you. So does that make sense? It's a really interesting topic. And in my note, I just said, how do you reward people for how they treat you? Do you give more attention to their insults or their compliments? Show more response to positive interactions, compliments, love, etc. than you do to negative, complaining, trauma dumping, insults. And this is a big thing too. Oh my gosh, such a big thing with like our culture is like this, you know, me and my friends get together to just talk shit about work and to like complain about our coworkers and complain about our husbands and our days and whatever. And it's like, well, that's not good for either of you. Like, it's totally good to have time to, you know, let loose and let out what is bothering you and what's gone wrong this week. It's totally fair to do that, but do it in a safe container. Something that I've heard people do, I don't have friends in person right now, so I don't do this, but I read this and I thought this was so cool. And it was like having a girls' night where, yeah, you're gonna let loose. You're gonna talk about all your shit. So everybody gets 5 minutes to just like release it all, okay? And then the other people, the other friends, they are just there to support you and listen. They're not there to give you advice unless you ask for it. And they are just there to listen to you. And then after that, you guys have a good ass time, you know, and you let loose and you have fun. Ooh, guys, okay, this is so fun because I feel like I just love how validating these cards are and how they're just providing so much more information what I'm talking about, because I do think this is like a collective thing that we're all working through, learning to, you know, show more attention to the good things in life. And also in that same podcast by Amber, she had mentioned this statistic, and I don't remember it exactly, but it's like, and I mentioned this in my manifesting podcast as well, but we have like thousands and thousands of thoughts a day, and 80% of them are negative. So we are giving, like, I mean, naturally, like, our human minds give more attention to the negative, and so you have to make a really conscious decision to show more attention to the positive. And so with that, like, it's kind of something we've been programmed to do, like, to really focus on the negative, talk about the negative, complain about this, and, you know, see all this stuff that's annoying you, rather than making the conscious choice to, you know, really look at what's awesome in your life. Because I promise you there's something that's amazing. If you're watching this video, you have internet access, you have online friends, like, there's something amazing in your life. And, you know, feel free to comment that and talk about what you're grateful for, because gratitude is really amazing for manifesting and just for being happier, honestly. It just makes you more aware of all the blessings you have in your life. Yeah. So the cards we got for this topic of how are you rewarding people for how they treat you? And Amber's amazing thought of you are training people how to treat you, which I don't know if that's an exact quote, but it was like that sentiment. We've got the 6 of Swords, okay. We've got the Strength card, and then we've got 2 doozies reversed. We've got the Ace of Cups reversed and the Devil reversed, okay. So it takes power and strength to break down these like programmed habits that we have. It takes a lot of strength, and it's a freaking journey. With the 6, I don't know if you guys can hear that, that was a loud motorcycle. With the 6 of Swords, it's like a retreat, a treacherous journey to get to safety. And if you're watching this video, hopefully this is resonating and you're realizing, like, yeah, maybe I am focusing too much on the negative. Maybe I am in some way rewarding the people around me and in my life for their negative behaviors, and maybe I'm focusing a lot on that and I'm not, focusing on the great things. If you have a friend and you're always like telling them what they did to upset you and this and this and this and complaining, maybe try to, for like a week, like not vocally express that and only vocally express the things that they're doing that are so wonderful and that you really appreciate. And that can be hard, but it can be really good. And obviously I don't want you to like disregard your boundaries or do anything like that. But if it's something just simple, like someone just kind of annoys you sometimes, if it's your sister or your brother and they're just, how they are, just go a week and only point out the positives and see how that changes. Because when you're doing that, you're subconsciously rewarding them. You're saying, hey, that was awesome. And they're going to be like, oh shit, nice, good, I should do that more. And there's obviously different relationships where that doesn't necessarily work. And then that's a whole other conversation in its entirety. But in general, like, we really are training people how to treat us. And so, when we are being so much more grateful and like taking notice of the good things that people do and focusing on the compliments and returning that, because, and I'm not saying this, I should clarify, I'm not saying like if someone constantly treats you like shit to like ignore it and to be like, oh, well, thanks for being here. Because like, no, if someone treats you like shit, then don't fucking deal with that. But if someone's giving you compliments and you're like, nah, and if someone's like showing you love, but maybe it's not your love language, and you're just like not aware of it, and you're just like complaining about the little things that aren't actually breaking any boundaries or being unhealthy or anything, then, maybe kind of look at that. You know what I mean? Clarify. This is for like healthy relationships, if that makes sense. But yeah, I just think a big thing is like we really do like, and I know that I do it too, because it's like a big thing that I dealt with like my childhood inner child. It's this idea of like perfectionism, and that it's just expected of me to do the best and be the best that I can. So if someone's like, oh my God, that video was so good, or you did so good in this, or this editing was really great, I'm just like, yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do. And like, that's not great, because you're, like I said, it's doing them and you a disservice. And you need to realize, even if you have those subconscious beliefs of like, yeah, I'm supposed to be the best, that's some shadow work that you gotta go through, and girl, I did it too, okay? So I'm with you. But yeah, so we got the strength card. So this is all about inner strength and finding our courage within. And so, yeah, this is just shining that light on, even if like you don't have the dream job you want right now, or you don't have the love of your life yet and you're manifesting them, even if it's not like the perfect situation or you're not living the perfect life, understand that this is going to sound so hippie, and again, in my podcast I talk a lot about this, but like, you can be living your perfect life, and it's all about being mindful and about being in the moment and realizing that like the present is like all that is real and all that you have currently. And so to really, really make the present as much of your dream life as you can. Like, maybe you still have to go to work, but you can make a little like happy routine every day with getting dressed and making it like a little ritual, and wearing your favorite shoes or whatever to make yourself feel luxurious, and just really giving yourself treats and allowing yourself to just live. Like, we really need to just live, because so many of us are, just so worried about the future, and so like our minds are just focused on our manifestations, and once we get here, I'll do this, or once I achieve this, then I'll be able to do this. And it's like, no, dude, like, you really gotta just vibe with the now, if that makes sense. I'm really hoping this is making sense. And the last two cards we got down here are Ace of Cups reversed and the Devil reversed, okay? So this is just I think the Ace of Cups is a really good example, reversed, is a really good example of that cutting off of that flow of love when we are like not fully like receiving, because when we're not fully allowing ourselves to receive a compliment or a nice gesture because we feel bad and we're like, oh shit, that person gave me something nice, do I have to do something in return? It's like, oh, just just breathe, let it flow. Like, let the feelings flow. Return whatever you can. Doesn't have to be money, doesn't have to be a gift. Maybe if you're like, you've got this artistic talent or whatever, you know, help a friend out, like when you can, if that makes sense. Like, there are ways to return the love, even if you don't have the money to buy them a present or the time to, you know, I don't know, build them something, or, you know, use your talents in whatever way you can. There are still countless ways that you can return love. But also, you don't need to worry about that, because sometimes it's just your time to receive. Sometimes it's literally just the time for you to sit back and let love come to you and know that you don't have to do anything. You don't have to, love is not conditional on what you do to earn it, because it's not something to be earned. And likewise, something that I see is like, a lot of us feel like to be worthy, we have to prove ourselves. And that's not true either. You really are just like inherently worthy of love and respect and having a good life. And it's hard to get into that mindset because we live in a capitalist society that tells us that our worth is based on how much money we make or how productive we are. And you really just have to break that down and realize that that is all conditioning and generational trauma that's been passed down generations and generations, and you kind of have to disconnect from that and realize that that doesn't make any fucking sense at all. And that's where we get to the devil reverse. So this is all those, you know, mindsets that are really holding us back and really like putting us in this scarcity mindset where we're like, well, I'm not able to accept that compliment, or I'm not able to do this or this. For whatever reason, a lot of us just feel that maybe that person's lying, maybe that person wants something. And it's like, those are all things that you really have to work through, because those are usually just limiting beliefs from trauma or from things that people have told you about yourself. And honestly, I feel like the moral is just doing all this shadow work, because all of this stuff is like things that so many of us go through. And this is like all a collective reading and ramble, because this is just stuff that I'm feeling like the collective is dealing with. And it's just something that we all have to kind of heal within ourselves. And I kind of feel like it's a snowball effect. Like, the more one person heals from this thing, then they can share this thought and like tell people like, hey, maybe it's not you, maybe it's capitalism. And then it starts to just make people think. And like I said, it's just a snowball effect. So yeah, I just feel like it's just all this stuff that we've kind of been programmed to think. But really, and it's not this whole like laundry list of like, all right, the only way to get past this is to do years of shadow work, because we should always be doing shadow work and trying to improve ourselves and become aware of our triggers and the things that really bring about like feelings that we don't resonate with. But it's as simple as just recognizing that it's okay to receive compliments, and it's okay to allow people to treat you well. It's so funny like talking about it. Not funny, but you know what I mean. It's weird talking about it, because so many of us, like, we think inherently that we're not like able to receive that kind of like dream love or dream job or whatever. But like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you not be? You know what I mean? Like, if anyone is worthy of that, then of course you are. So it's just a lot of just realizing that these thoughts are kind of programmed and they don't resonate with us. They don't resonate with me. I'm not telling you what resonates with you, but I probably think that those thoughts don't resonate with you. And yeah, so just think about that. Think about how you're rewarding people. What actions are you giving the most thought and response and energy to? Are you more responsive when someone does something hurtful, or are you more responsive when someone does something really sweet and amazing? And then just realize that, and then see that you can easily just become more and more aware of that and consciously give more attention to the things that people do that make you feel really good and really valued. And that'll just like increase that behavior tenfold. And then obviously, again, like if there's issues that are happening, that's definitely something to be worked through. But yeah, just giving energy to the good, at least more than you're giving energy to the bad, okay? I hope that made sense. I feel like these were some very deep thoughts, and I hope that it like all came through and made sense. I'll put all the links to the things I mentioned in the description. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I always like, I'm so talkative, so it's like, how am I supposed to finish my tea? I don't know. But yeah, let me know if you liked this. If you like the tea and tarots, I can do them more. If you want to help out, feel free to subscribe, like, and comment, and share with a friend. If this is a message you want to share on your Facebook, share on Instagram, send it to some friends, and that helps my channel grow and the Moon Fam grow, and hopefully heal a bunch of people, because there's a lot of stuff in the collective that, you know, we should talk about, and we should heal within ourselves so that we can all just have like the best time here that we can and just fucking vibe. That's all any of us want to do. We just want to vibe and just want to have fun. So that's the goal here. I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, I will see you all next time. Bye.